Guys, before we get started with this video, I wanted to take a few minutes to let you know about our online coffee shop. If you're like me and you enjoy a good cup of coffee, come over, check out our online store linked below this video. You can pick you up some great coffee as well as other merchandise. Help support the channel. Get yourself a great cup of coffee. Link down below. Guys, what we're doing in this video is replacing the stereo in my wife's Highlander. I'm going to show you the basic process of how that is done. Of course, the first step is, of course, to get the original factory stereo out. It's not very difficult to do. Of course, we can go ahead and unplug this thing. This is a Bluetooth adapter for the stereo that she has. This is the factory radio. It's been giving issues, and we have decided to replace it. And again, guys, I will leave links to everything that you see me use down in the description of this video, so go down and check it out. We've got our new stereo here. She went with the Pioneer. I got this for her a while back, and I'm just now getting in. But of course, you need your stereo. You're also going to need a mounting kit, wire harness adapter. The basic process of getting this one out is to get this cover off. And the way you need to do that is invest in some of these non-marring tools. They're very cheap, and it can help you from damaging your dash. You know, link down in the description. So basically, you'll take this, and what you want to do is simply work this behind the cover and just kind of pop it out all the way around. It's just held in with some clips, just like so. And they can be a little stiff, so just be gentle, take your time, work that in, and simply get it loose. There again, we're pretty much loose all the way around, and it comes out just like that. These things can save you a lot of time, and again, it's a plastic, and it will not tear up your dash the way using a screwdriver or something like that will. Now, the next step is to remove the 6 bolts that we have here in the dash. I'm just going to bring you guys a little closer. You can see here on each side of the stereo that there's just 6 bolts that hold this in. You know, kind of down in here as well. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this and film at the same time. Bit of a challenge. So let's go ahead and put you back. And those are, looks like 10mm, I believe. Just using my impact gun. You don't have to have one of these. You can get it very easily with a socket and ratchet, but I'm lazy. Now that you've got the screws out, this whole center console will pull forward just like that. Now you do have some wire harnesses that are back behind it that you're going to need to unhook. Okay, we got our harnesses pretty much unhooked. Get the antenna, and there's one more for the stereo that I got to get loose. These things can be a little bit tight, tricky. Be careful and don't break them, because you will create a bunch of aggravation for yourself if you do. All right, there we are. So we had, if you guys can see it, these 3 harnesses here, as well as the ones down here for the stereo, and that's pretty much it. Now what I need to do is simply set this aside, and I'm going to take the stereo kit, the harness adapter kit that I got, and I'm going to match it up to make sure that I've got the right ones. A lot of these kits are universal, so they will send you harnesses that will fit multiple vehicles that you're not necessarily going to need. This is the one for the stereo. This is my universal kit, so I just need to go through and see which one of these that I'm actually going to be using. Okay guys, I know which harness adapter that I'm going to be needing. I've got it plugged in here. Actually, there's going to be a couple of these harnesses that are not used, so don't be surprised about that when you go to do that. So what I'm going to do now is basically take this and make sure that I get everything wired in to where it goes on the adapter that comes with the stereo. And of course I have got it right here. You can see here, this plugs into the back of the stereo. So basically what I'm going to be doing is just matching these up to where they go as far as power, ground, speakers, left to right, and all that. Double check everything, make sure that you get this right, because you don't want to mess this step of the process up. I have had the radio on. I did get everything wired in, got the harnesses wired in, and made sure that it worked. I highly recommend that you do that before going through the process of getting everything together. You don't want to get everything back together only to have to take it apart again because something isn't working right. So make sure that all your speakers are working and anything else are working with the new stereo. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove the original stereo from this housing, and you've got 3 bolts on each side of this housing that you need to pull out. And of course it looks like they can be pulled out either with a Phillips or a socket. Of course I'm just going to use my impact tool again, save myself some time, you know. So, and don't lose these screws because you're going to use them on the new stereo. I'm going to go ahead and remove these 3 or 4 on this side as well. And you can see as soon as I pull those screws out, the stereo is now loose. Just got to take the stereo, just flex that down a little bit, slide it down. I don't know if you guys can see in the video how I'm doing this, but I'm just sliding the original stereo out just like that. So we're going to set it out of the way. I've got to get the harness adapter or the dash adapter together and get it ready to go back into the dash. I have got the stereo just basically setting in the housing. You guys can see it here. And what I've got to do now, these universal kits come with a couple of different trays, and what you need to do is you need to find the one that is going to closely match what you need for your system, as far as, you know, filling in the gap the way that it should, because there's a couple of different ones and they're not all going to work the same. You do have some trim pieces that come with the kit as well. So now what we got to do is get the side pieces on the kit. There again, I've got a couple of adapters here that I can use for making sure that this is going to fit in place the way that it's supposed to. You know, I've got a couple of holes here on the side of it that will line up, and you know, there again, you get all the screws and stuff in these kits. Again, link down in the description. But just make sure that you get the one that is going to fill in properly for your system. Okay guys, I have got the stereo and one of the trays installed. You just got to dig through all of the hardware that you get with your bracket to find the one that's going to work for yours. And now what I've got to do is go through and find out which one of these faceplate covers is going to work the best as well. That way it can fill in the gap that we have around this, and you know, and you get quite a few of them. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out which one is going to fill it in and look the best. Okay guys, after fighting and making sure that we got all of the brackets that we need to get this mounted in there, you can see we do have everything mounted in place. Now what we're ready to do now is simply to put everything back in the dash, plug everything up. You want to make sure that you get everything plugged up correctly before you start getting your stuff back into place. You do not want to overlook a plug, because if you do, then you're going to have to take your dash apart again to make sure that you get everything connected. So now I'm just going to plug in the stereo. I do have all of my other harnesses here for the HVAC control that I've got to get plugged in as well. One thing that you don't want to forget, of course, is the antenna. So I'm going to get it up here into place. Get the antenna plugged in just like that. Get our HVAC controls back up into their position. Now I've got to get this harness, get this whole assembly a little bit closer to I can have enough room for those cables to get them plugged in. Okay, we've got everything plugged in. Now just got to set this back in place, and we're going to get our screws installed. Now before I put the front cover back on, I want to go ahead and check it again just to make sure that everything's going to work. Everything works. Our HVAC works as well. So now I'm going to take the cover, get it down into position, just wiggle it back into place and snap it back in. Don't force it too heavily. Be gentle. Just work all the way around until it snaps back into place. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. I will leave a link to everything that you've seen in the video down in the description below. That way you guys can go over and support the channel. Let me hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and we will see you next time.